Welcome, everybody, to the Give It Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, guys, you are most certainly welcome here. I'm host Most Black Spartan, of course, with Safari TV and Short Guy Joe. Guys, how you doing this evening?
I'm great. Inside Out 2 didn't need to be a biography about being attacked as an adult. So there was that.
I heard it was good.
Revised again.
Joe bought something new, and Inside Out 2, I heard was pretty good. But what you said, Joe?
I was once again left unsupervised.
Nice. Well, as you can see, guys, we are three older gentlemen, so we do try to watch our language, but words do fly. At the same time, guys, we do show a lot of trailers and things of that nature. Some of them may be graphics, so viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So I guess we need to start with, I won't say the late bloomer. Nintendo Direct has always done their own thing. But then again, so has every other gamer out there. So with that being said, and kind of Laney beat me to the punch, a game of Zelda. Yeah, we're going to get to that, Laney, but before we get to that, we do have to start with a few of the trailers. First off, what they did give us from Nintendo Direct was another Mario Luigi game called Mario and Luigi Brothership. The first time I read this, I thought that was a typo, but it's actually what the game's about. Before I start, anybody want to give anything about it before I play the trailer?
I actually just finished last year the first Mario and Luigi, what was it, Superstar Saga? So I don't really like turn-based games, but this was actually a good entry. So I am perfectly okay with this one being the next one.
Joe?
So many thoughts and feelings on this Direct, especially about one game, but we'll get into that later. We'll let that one take us for a ride. You and I disagreed about this whole event, which I want to get into later on.
Oh, that I said it was safe?
Not that it was safe, it's just I feel like this served more people and more different fandoms than the Xbox one did. And on top of that, a lot of these games are coming out within a year to months, as to possibly God knows however long. And those are just my thoughts and feeling on it. Do not get me wrong when I say this. Xbox did a fantastic job. They blew the crap out of everybody. But my biggest issue with them versus the Nintendo one is some of these games aren't coming out for 2 to 5 years. The most unfortunate part is Dragon Age Veilguard is coming out a year after Baldur's Gate 3. That comparison is not going to be unavoidable. They are going to be living in the shadow of Baldur's Gate.
But I'll tell you what.
What's up?
I'll tell you what. Before you get too far into that, let's actually show a trailer first before we.
Brothership is amazing, and I want it so badly.
Luigi? Huh? Luigi!
Okay, so that was the trailer from Mario and Luigi's Brothership. I'm gonna be honest. At first I thought it was Paper Mario with just a little bit more upgrades, but I like it. It does kind of have those two co-op games like a No Way Out or Army of Two. So it is co-op based, which again I'm not against it because let's be honest, Mario and Luigi, we always played that way with co-op based. But yeah. To Joe's detriment, he did say that most of these Nintendo games are coming out. This one is coming out November 7th of this year. So, I mean, it looks great. Just really surprised about the direction they went with this. But anything else you guys want to add to it?
I mean, they at least gave us one paycheck away from October where everything else comes out to try to recoup and then go buy the game. But yeah, I played the first one. Because the 3DS store died, I actually went and picked up the 3DS remake of the original, and I think I still need to finish it. But if you're not a fan of turn-based ones, these ones are actually pretty okay. I don't know about Paper Mario; I've never played those, but this was surprisingly better than I expected. So this being another entry in that franchise, I would give it grace.
Yeah, Joe. Oh, Joe, you muted.
Tafari, you need to play Bowser's Inside Story.
I've heard about that. That's the second one after this one, right?
Yes.
Or after this main entry? Okay.
Yes. Like, that is the best thing ever.
Okay. That's good.
As for this one, single-player RPG, everybody loves Mario RPGs. The bit of an irony here is the studio that made these games was killed by Nintendo because they were going under wanting Nintendo to buy them. Nintendo did not buy them. They went defunct. And now we have a new Mario Luigi RPG on our hands. Which honestly looks a little too pretty to be on the Switch. But here we are.
You got a question.
What's so good about Bowser's Inside Story? The writing, the comedy, that the levels itself is literally Bowser himself. So you're doing two stories of Mario and Luigi running around inside Bowser trying to fix him while Bowser's going through a whole plot on his own. On the B side of the game, it's wonderful, wonderful fun. It's as good a storytelling for Bowser as what he got in not Mario Odyssey, the one on the GameCube where
Sunshine, which I don't.
Sunshine?
People claim that game wasn't good, and I don't know who has an opinion because everyone I know with the GameCube had that game, and it was weird to. I kind of thought it was weird that we gave them this story-driven tale with Sunshine where Bowser and Bowser Jr. could speak, and then they've just been sound effects ever since. They never had a voice again.
Which is interesting, but no.
So that's why Bowser's Inside Story is so good. This one I'm looking forward to. It wasn't quite the HD Wind Waker I was looking for, but I'll take this.
It looks really good, though. That's what I said. As I said when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, it's like Paper Mario. If you remember how Paper Mario looked, it's a little bit more upgraded, but I liked it. I mean, I liked it. Like I said, 2-player co-op. You can't beat that with a stick. Hey, Kara.
Hey, Kara.
So we're gonna move on
to what y'all do for some reason.
What?
It's like we haven't done anything yet. We swear.
Give it time.
Give it time. Right. So we're gonna get on to the next game that also was a trailer from Nintendo. One that Lainey is very excited about. A game at Zelda. This is Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. In its full entirety. And that's not what I want to do. There we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eiji Aonuma, producer of the Legend of Zelda series. What you just saw was the latest installment, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. This time around, Link has vanished. Now, it's up to Princess Zelda to step into the protagonist role. You might be thinking, will Zelda fight with a sword then? Here, we wanted to create a new gameplay style that breaks conventions seen in past Legend of Zelda games with a top-down perspective. To explain more, please take a look at this video.
Stolen away. Across the vast lands of Hyrule, strange rifts have appeared and have taken many people, including Link. Now alone, Zelda meets the fairy Tri, receives a mysterious staff called the Tri-Rod, and sets off on a journey across Hyrule to save her kingdom. By waving the Tri-Rod at a table she found, Zelda learned how to create an imitation of it called an echo. Once you learn an echo of something, you can recreate it whenever you'd like. Even if there's a wall blocking your path, you can create echoes of tables to get a leg up. Just like that. You can create wooden boxes, old beds, and unusual things like water blocks. How you use them separately or together is entirely up to you. Learn and create echoes of things you find while exploring Hyrule. You might be surprised at what you discover. Even battles will look different. You could pick up and throw a rock echo, for example. That's not all, though. You can also create echoes of monsters. After doing so, they'll fight by your side. Monsters have different abilities, so choose the one you want to create based on the situation. Wisdom is key, after all. In a Hyrule without Link, the fate of the kingdom is now in Zelda's hands.
How was that? I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of the Echo ability, which channels Princess Zelda's wisdom. There are a lot of echoes in this game. To be honest, I haven't counted them all yet. How you solve puzzles and battle enemies will change depending on the echoes used. In short, we've created a game where each player's experience will be different. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom launches September 26th. A Nintendo Switch Lite system inspired by the Legend of Zelda series will also be available at launch. We hope you're looking forward to playing as Zelda in this new adventure.
Okay, so guys, that was the trailer for Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. It's a little bit more extended just because they did explain a little bit more of how the fight system works and things of that nature. So also, I gotta give Lainey, I have to give Lainey and Kira credit for this. Why is Link getting hoed? Hey, it was his turn. It was his turn to be rescued. Of course, Joe with the staff of Xerox. Lainey's gonna buy a whole Trios, and I agree with that because I know Lainey will. Womp womp womp. Really, Kira? Really? And of course, Lainey agreed. So Echoes of Wisdom is definitely different. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. We outside of Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, we've never had Zelda as a fighting character in any game, have we?
I mean, in an adventure game, we haven't. She's in Smash.
Yeah,
Right.
Zelda and Sheik in Smash, but that's about it.
Okay.
Actual playable Zelda,
Mm-hmm.
technically we have through a technicality in Spirit Tracks.
Okay.
Her ghost possessing the knight armor that she can use so she can fight with Link, but as a solo adventure, no. We have never had solo Zelda before. I, for one, am all for this. of course, we have to go with the joke. Why is this called not called the Legend of Link?
Mhm.
Which says you play as Zelda. I'm also seeing, of course, the dark side of this immediately rears its ugly head as people are getting up in arms that you're playing as Zelda in a Zelda game. Apparently, all of gaming is now lost, and everything is on fire, and
Right.
we should be drinking Bud Lights.
Cats and dogs can't live together.
Now, Mass Hysteria is called for other things. I don't understand people sometimes, but I really, really do look forward to this.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different, and I honestly, since it's continuing the art style of the remake of
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening, I wonder if this is a sequel to Link's Awakening.
I could go with that. I'm liking the fact that it's different. You know, we're used to as characters of Link, we are used to weapons, we are used to we're always used to strategies, but we're used to weapons. And now that she has a staff and the staff can do a lot more, you do have to strategize. And again, it falls right in the world that we're used to. So I'm all for it. I would definitely give this a try.
The fan art has been fantastic. My favorite's where she makes an echo of a Glock. I've seen that one. Where she's sitting there in an IKEA putting together a table. And then just getting ready to bash a moblin over the backside of his head, a la Bart and Homer in the shower,
just
with an IKEA chair.
But Tafari, what do you think?
They basically took elements from Tears of the Kingdom and just put it into chibi form, because guarantee there will be puzzles and stuff getting fixed in this in the most childish and ridiculous of ways, because
right.
I think one of those popular things I saw about what is it, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is just the amount of like skipping and just glitching you can use the engine to get bypass certain things you're supposed to do but not have to. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're just recreating this in mini form. Also, the audacity to sell a Switch Lite when you have already announced you have a successor console coming out. You could at least make it an OLED. Actually, never mind. They did an OLED for Tears of the Kingdom, I think. So, fine. It's Switch Lite, but still. And it's probably going to sell out, too, because it's a Hyrule edition.
Yeah. And, Lady, I like the fact they're continuing opening world type decisions to make it. Yeah. And again, with the problem solving, like I said before, we are all on board with that. You know, we're not like the gatekeepers out there that believe we need another Link game after Tears of the Kingdom. But again, this is a different direction. There's nothing wrong with it being different. At least give it a shot.
Tears of the Kingdom was a Link game? I played that as a Metal Gear game.
Well, I mean, yeah, there was that point of how all the things you could build, so you're not wrong about that.
Oh yeah, but I ran around in a full scale Metal Gear Rex and Metal Gear Ray the whole game.
But still, the thing I'm getting at is people, like you said, people are shooting this down just because you're playing as Zelda. I'm like, for the longest time, people got Link and Zelda mixed up. So if that tells you anything, again, give it a shot. And it comes out this year. So, of course, if you want to get the Switch Hyrule Edition, be my guest. If you're that type of collector, I'm not going to judge you. Your money. But we're going to keep on going with the trailers because, again, another one that was one of our picks from the Direct Channel, Dragon Quest VIII HD 2D Remake. And this was one Dragon Quest that I need to go back and play because I've never played this. Huh?
Three.
Oh, 3. I can't read. That's my bad. I can't read. How I get 8 from 3, that's on me. Dragon Quest 3. That would explain why.
Dragon Quest 8 is probably the first one you did because that's the one that came to the DS.
Yeah.
It was like the first big time anybody noticed Dragon Quest in a while.
Yeah. So I've never played 3. So I get my rumor numbers right. Anyway, trailer.
Journey with allies to face the Archfiend on an epic adventure. Memorable encounters, perplexing challenges, and formidable monsters await. An iconic RPG remade in HD 2D. Forge your own path. The legacy begins. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. Available November 14th.
Oh, that's a nice surprise. So, along with Dragon Quest 3, they're actually coming out with 1 and 2 for HD remakes, although 1 and 2 will be in 2025. 3 is actually going to be this year. And I've now got to add this to the list. Because, like I said before, my Dragon Quest started, like Joe said, mine started in 8. So I've never played 3. I've never played 1 or 2. And now I got a reason to. But guys, what do you think?
I was never a big Dragon Quest guy, but I've always seen and recognized the character. So, I mean, if the fandom's excited for it, then good for them. By all means, I hope it grants the enjoyment y'all have been looking for.
Joe?
I mean, there's a reason why this game fundamentally changed how games are allowed to be released into the public in Japan. This is one of the quintessential Dragon Quest games. Also, the trilogy plays weirdly. It goes 3, 1, 2, then technically 11 for the Erdrick Saga. My personal favorite is 5, which is the multi-generational one, but I am very much looking forward to this. I mean, I can deal with the tedium of grinding constantly to do it. And you grind a lot in Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is a very hard game that you have to earn your way through things.
Not Souls-like, but it's close.
Yeah, it's getting there.
You got to say that. It's like, is it a Souls game? No, but it's might as well be its cousin. But
and
again,
also, this is sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Also, the other reason we got to look forward to this is probably one of the last things Toriyama worked on. This, Dragon Quest 12, and Dragon Ball Daima. So this is probably one of the last things Akira Toriyama got to work on for the remake portion of it.
Gotcha. But still, looking forward to playing this. But we got to move on to something else because, again, Nintendo did surprise us with a curveball. But before we can actually get to the trailer, Joe had found this, and this probably explains it all.
All right, Bart.
Capcom presents.
Say the line, Bart.
Capcom presents.
Now, you're probably wondering why we played that. There is a reason, because if you were under a rock, you missed this announcement.
Go, buddy.
Here comes a new challenger! Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics.
Now, I have to pause it there for one good reason. Because, yes, this is coming out in 2024. But if you notice, it's only available for the PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. So I hope to God, for a lot of you guys, you did not throw away your PS4s. Because, again, go ahead, Joe.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna sit there and say, the shock that I got from this, first and foremost, Marvel vs. Capcom and the slew of games that you're getting, all of them worth playing, all of them worth having. The fact that you're getting all of this in one shot, you're getting network play, you're getting soundtracks, because anybody that's ever played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, there's a certain line that sticks out in your head every time you play it. I can't say anything, but you know what? If you did charge $60 for this game, I'm buying it. But what do you guys think?
What you got, Joe?
Okay, so aside from taking us all for a ride, we'll touch on the actual thing itself. The important thing I want to note about is that Capcom Fighting Collection is now officially marked as a series. We got the first one last year. We got one next year. CVS Collection is coming. We are going to be getting Capcom vs. SNK at some point.
Yeah,
I will be there. I will pick up a physical copy if I have to. This is also coming out in physical. It's coming out on PS4 because the PS4 architecture can still run it. Because of that, because the PS5 and PS4 backwards compatible, we are getting it on PS5. The reason is it is not on Xbox is because the architecture for running the game will not work on the current gen systems. And unfortunately, Xbox got in such a rush to release multiple generations out too quickly.
Let's go! Keep going.
I mean, that proves my point. That Microsoft can't run it because last time MVC2 was on there, it was the 360 era. And Xbox has shot well past the 360 architecture, so it can't carry over, which is the biggest issue. On top of that, I'm wondering if, and this is purely speculation on my part, if they don't want this to be day one Game Pass because it lowers the money amount they'll receive, because Game Pass and Microsoft take a good chunk out of that Game Pass deal, and it doesn't go as much to developers. That part's on my end. The actual technical reason it's not an Xbox is because Xbox released 3 consoles afterward, where Sony only released 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to get this. The reason why you probably heard this in the background is because Maximilian Dodd had a reaction to it, and I had to find the video, and unfortunately, I can't find the mute button fast enough. But
pick which scream. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the podcast and in the video, please pick which scream woke up his 3-year-old daughter. Try to figure out which scream it is.
There's tool and ground farming.
Take you for a ride.
What the?
7 arcade games featuring Marvel and Capcom characters are fighting their way onto Nintendo Switch as one collection.
What?
Flash and X-Men versus Street Fighter.
What the?
Duke it out in Marvel versus Capcom 2 New Age of
What
Heroes.
am I looking at?
Take down the Kingpin in the beat-em-up side-scroller The Punisher, and more. Hit up training mode to polish your fighting skills and combos.
What the
Select online mode to challenge rivals around the world. Or play co-op in The Punisher. You can also cross over to the museum to view artwork or listen to music from each game.
I wanna take you for a ride.
Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics launches on Nintendo Switch this year.
Fucking how? How?
I have to stop it there just because I can't make fun of him, number one, because when I saw Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection the first time, I screamed. So I can't make fun of him. But to Joe's question, probably the last one. That last one probably woke his kid up. I'm almost certain of that. Because that man screamed. You just there's a certain type of joy in a scream that just cannot be faked, and that was it. But yeah, third scream, definitely. But again, I am happy that we're getting this because for the longest time, not only that, Captain Commando, Punisher, Marvel versus Street Fighters, Marvel superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom. Keep in mind, these were, I like to call them laundry games. You know, if you went to a laundromat or you went to an arcade, 9 times out of 10, you saw one of these games and blew the whole thing in quarters. But it's fun, and the fact that you now get to play them this year, like I said, if it's $60, I'm paying it. I have no problem paying $60 for this. But Tafari, you about to say something?
I'm just shocked they let this game out of jail because it feels like they've had Marvel vs. Capcom 2 locked away for no reason for the longest, and no one ever understood why. Also, I didn't think they had this many crossover games because I think MVC 1 or 2 was the one that came on my Dreamcast, so I didn't know they had so many others.
Yeah.
Also, I know there are other side scrollers, so like it's nice, but why Punisher of all of them?
Punisher was fun.
So the reason for Punisher is that is the first time Marvel and Capcom ever collaborated on a game.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, I know they got some X-Men side scrollers and some other stuff I used to play like on the Super Nintendo that hasn't seen the light.
We don't talk about that.
That was a dark age. That was a dark age.
Remember that game on the Game Gear where they gave Hulk a gun? Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Where you said far?
I was gonna say I like the what is it, the quick save feature they had, because the stuff we're gonna talk about later is actually doing the same thing, and maybe not for mainstream games, but doing that for ports is a godsend because that's how I got through a couple platinum trophies last weekend. So dropping, I also hope the co-op stuff that is there is drop in, drop out, like how Mutant Mayhem did it, because I mean, it'll have its hype, but someone's not always going to be there, so I don't want to sit in the lobby until I have 2 people, and people can just tap it out as they please. I'm surprised more people haven't copied that formula.
But the online game, the online match is going to be something else once that starts back up.
I'm curious how people are going to feel about the one button or the one tap finishers in online mode, because I feel like, I don't know the competitive community, but I know that's like frowned upon at times.
Yeah. Well, they kind of also make it. It's also a tournament rule. Like you can't have one button for certain. I'm sorry, let me take it back. Certain tournaments don't have that. Certain tournaments have that rule. Not all of them, but certain ones they're like they take those out.
If it's for accessibility, they'll allow it for certain competitors, but generally, you got to play on normal mode. The problem here is a lot of people are already bagging on this because of that easy mode. Like that was in there in the game's initial launch.
Right.
Easy mode was a thing from the get-go. This was never just implemented because it's easy. It's the way to go now. That's been there since Jump Street. They need to calm down.
But I'm just saying, you're getting here, and this is the thing I keep going back to. You are literally getting 6 games for the price of the modern video game cartridge right now.
Oh yeah,
we don't even know. You're definitely getting your money's worth, but I'm like,
on top of that, they're updated. They've patched out a lot of the bugs, so there's no more infinite wall bounce combos on some things.
Right.
Characters are unlocked for the first time, so you get to play as Akuma, Magneto, and Juggernaut in Coda. You get to play as Cyber Akuma, which this is the first time ever you can play as Cyber Akuma in Capcom vs. Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. They did take out that Japanese dude though, but that's a rights issue altogether. He was a joke character. They added Roll as a separate character into MVC1, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to play all the weird color variants like Red Venom, Gold War Machine, Orange Hulk, and stuff like that. CVS2, everything is rollback netcode. So we know we're going to have a solid time all the way around.
Of course.
I think everybody is unlocked from the get-go in MVC2. Otherwise, I mean, I have no problem leaving my PlayStation on for a day and a half like we used to leave the Dreamcast on because it was a time unlock back in the day.
Wait, was there who was the time unlock? Because I vaguely remember hearing that.
So in MVC2, the roster was locked by time, not by progression. So if you left your console on for like 2 days, everybody just unlocked naturally. Here, the whole roster is unlocked. So, again, I am so excited for this. It's getting a physical copy. I am getting both the physical and the digital. That way I can definitely add to their wallets because I am definitely going to be the ones telling them, I want my CVS.
I'm getting
I want my Capcom versus SNK Fighting Collection. I want my... There's 4 games in that thing, but the best one is CVS 2.
I just bought Capcom versus SNK 2 because that was the game that came on my PS2. I didn't understand what the hell was happening at the time, but it was enjoyable. And then the different fight, they don't even really give you instructions. They just kind of throw you in it.
Pretty much. You learn as you
can
go.
Make that thing into Third Strike. You can make that game into Alpha. You can make that game into KOF. You can make that game into KOF 95, 96. You can make that fighting system into what's it called? Samurai Showdown. From the group system.
See, that's going into Neo Geo SNK territory, and I need a collection of that.
Yeah, it is it's up for digital and physical pre-order at Best Buy right now. Both consoles for $50 a pop. I feel like for this being an old bunch of retro ports, I feel like the PS4 build is probably the smarter move because
it's
easier to run on the Switch versus trying to keep up like they did with Mortal Kombat 2 games in a row.
No, so here's why I think the Switch is the best out of all of them. If we do get drop in, drop out, I'm sitting there, I'm eating lunch, I got 20 minutes to kill, I'm going to toss around in the MVC too.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that. I mean, the Switch is basically MD2 software, so it's going to be the least problematic. So you're right. Still, it's damn. SNK, Neo Geo, I need y'all to keep up. But
we're getting it. Have you not heard the news?
I'm trying to be exceedingly hopeful because it's a mix. I did hear
This is official. This is official. No, not that. Something else. This is official news that SNK and Capcom are back to being super best friends again. We know we got Terry and Mai in Street Fighter. KOF 15 is going to have guest team.
Yeah, they're gonna have some over there. That's what I was like, oh, so they are gonna go. So they are gonna have some SF6 characters in KOF.
More than likely, Ryu, Chun-Li, and Luke.
I'm against that. I'm not. I actually look forward to that. But enough of the speculating, guys.
Might have Ken.
You think they should? Well, you know what? Let me say that. Let me bottle that for another day. As far as that discussion, who should be on KOF.
So we'll end this part of the discussion on hashtag free MVC2 has succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at just browsing these eBay prices on all three consoles is god awful.
I gotta sit there and say I was gonna say a really bad Tekken 8 joke. What if they were the ones that got the Waffle House stage? I'm sorry. No disrespect for Mr. Hamada. I understand
that man is genuinely trying to understand why we keep going to a restaurant and
I legit think there's a Waffle House stage in rival schools. I think they fight in front of a restaurant in rival schools. Either in rival schools or rival schools 2 Project Justice. I legitimately think there's a stage where they fight in a parking lot in front of a McDonald's or some version of a Denny's.
You're gonna make me look that up later. But we did have one more trailer that we need to get to, guys, because again, this was the last one they showed at the end of the Nintendo Direct. I was surprised about this one, especially for a Metroid fan. But it looks like we are getting another addition to the Metroid series, Prime 4 Beyond. And here's the trailer. So that, guys, was the trailer for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which you see, guys, unfortunately, it is one of the games that are coming out in 2025. If that's how it looks, I'm not against it. It looks beautiful. I'm hoping more information does come out about this, but I'm sold. What about you guys?
I'm curious if they're going to port 2 and 3 since we have 1 on the Switch.
I hope so.
And you have a lot of people where that was their entry point, which I didn't play the other 2, but please, for the love of God, if you're going to put a 100% trophy, I request collectible tracking in Nintendo games because some of the stuff I've been running back lately, even in an HD format, is painful. And trying to get 100% on this, on the first Metroid Prime, the longer you wait to go back or miss certain stuff, the more annoying it is because I kind of like the story. I don't really. Ridley was kind of just there. But then when you unlock like the ghost people in Metroid Prime 1, they just become annoying because you have to turn on like a special visor to see him. You can only hit him with a certain weapon. The music gets intense for no damn reason and for too damn long. If you leave the room and come back, they regenerate like instantly. And I had to watch a YouTube video to. There's not a lot of quick travel or save areas in the Metroid games either. It's a lot of, if you miss this one, you got to go all the way back here. Then I got the 100%. I got the 100% thing, and I just never booted it back up because it stopped being fun after a while. I'm hoping after 3 games they got it right, but I'm curious to see if they just skip over the other 2 coming to the modern console. And wasn't this announced like at the birth of the Switch?
Don't worry about that.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
It was announced at the birth of the Switch, and then midway through, Nintendo fired the team working on it.
Wow.
And formally announced we are redoing this game from the ground up. But the fact that it's coming in 2025 with no actual time frame, that tells me this is probably a Switch 2 launch title.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the other 2 come out as the last regular Switch titles, or I don't know, they're gonna drop like the Nintendo Switch Advanced because they dropped Dread between now and then, and apparently people are saying Dread is like one of the best ones in the franchise.
See, that makes me wonder if it's gonna be on the Virtual Channel. If it's not gonna be a standalone, it could be on the Virtual Channel. I'm just spitballing here, but you're right. The other one should be released just because, you see Metroid. A lot of people are going to be like, what's this? A lot of us our age are like, oh, we've been around since the beginning. But you're right. The other games should be released. I kind of hope they do. But because this is kind of slated to be a Switch 2 release, they may turn around and bundle those other ones up as additional packages. It's hard to say right now. What do you say, Joe?
More than likely, they're going to come out at around the same time, or they're going to pull. We need something for the winter because this is for the fall. If it's not coming out for next year, this is all fall stuff, and then fall we'll get a one for winter. Because we're still missing. We just got Donkey Kong Country Returns freed from the Wii U.
Right.
They literally just announced that in this direct. We still have not seen hide nor hair of Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, that's still technically in jail on the Wii U.
I feel like Twilight Princess I feel like that might get held for a sequel console.
And that's the thing, not to cut you off, but that's the thing that's always bothered me is like, Twilight Princess was good. Wind Waker was good, but they're locked again to the Wii U. And I've never understood that about Nintendo, but then again, Nintendo doesn't like ROMs, so what they do with that.
Nintendo likes to put things in case need money, break glass.
Pretty much.
So there's that. Definitely one of those, especially since those are the 2 most narratively functional and fun Zeldas of almost all of them. Wind Waker, especially the HD remake, which had a ton of quality of life improvements done to it.
Yeah.
Twilight Princess alone is just fantastic. Wind Waker has the best Ganon ever. He literally is the best Ganon.
I'm surprised they didn't keep that design when we went to Ultimate. I was surprised they went with the 64 because I get it. That's like the epicenter of those 3 games.
Our Ganon can't have a dad bod. He's just not imposing with a dad bod and a Jedi robe.
I didn't think he had a dad bod in that game. If anything, I thought that was like his most menacing look.
Oh, you're not wrong. I'm just saying he just looks like a really big Jedi.
He does, and then even the bridge stage from Twilight Princess they keep reusing, but it's just I don't know. Knowing, and that was one of their darker entries too. That was the first game I finished. But that story is so twisted and crazy, and then finding out the Ocarina of Time connection with the Golden Wolf or the dead warrior.
Yeah,
that whole crazy side, and then just finishing what is the one I just got, Wind Waker, and finding out that it's the exact same Hyrule. Like, meanwhile, they put all 3 Luigi's Mansions out in like the span of a year. So what's the holdup?
That just says a lot. But
I can answer that through the most basic answers I can give. Plus, it makes me feel good.
Apparently, because they put, I bought Luigi's Mansion on GameCube. Then they put it out before they killed the 3DS. They put it out again on the 3DS, and then they put Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2 on the Switch now.
Right.
Well, kinda. 1 actually got a remake on the 3DS.
Yeah,
2
I got it.
was a 3DS only game, and now it's being put on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
the fact that each of them have basically gone to the same console now, whenever they have a new title out, where Zelda, it's like we are using these sparingly.
Yeah.
People love Luigi.
That is true. Well,
that is
Luigi, Waluigi, and what's the other one?
Wario,
Waluigi. There we go. I got my W's and L's mixed up.
The last 2 games were good story-wise, but I kind of like the free roam feature of Luigi's Mansion 1, and I didn't really like that we deviated from that in the second one. And I think the third is kind of more of the same.
Yeah,
it's more puzzle intensive because you got the Gooigi.
Yeah, it got more puzzle intensive and very much like in Luigi's Mansion 2, it became mission based. But if you're trying to like explore, that's not really the case anymore. And that kind of sucks some of the fun out of it. But I get it because playing Luigi's Mansion 1 as a kid, I did get lost a lot. I beat the game and managed to miss like 5 different ghosts. So that may have been what that was about.
Yeah. But overall, Nintendo's Direct trailer, I said this before because like I said, just to really recap this before we get into the Jack and Dexter news. I did say, because we have a chat of our own on Facebook. When I first saw this, I was like, you know what? And Joe had said Nintendo had won. I'm like, they had a good showing and they felt safe. And the reason why I said that was, yes, I like the fact that we are getting another Mario movie. We are getting another Mario game. We are getting another Zelda game. We're surprisingly getting a lot of fighting games from Marvel Capcom Collection. We are getting a Metroid Prime game. But the reason why I say safe is because I don't see Nintendo going out of their wheelhouse. I see, you go for what I say is safe. You give us another Zelda game. We're always going to be happy with Zelda. You can sit there. You might have your least favorite Zelda game. You might have your favorite Zelda game. But let's be honest, Zelda will always make money. Same with Mario. You can have your least favorite Mario game. You can have your greatest Mario game. It's still going to make money regardless. I just wanted them to venture out beyond what is already working for them. That's where I was getting at. So that's why I was saying that, yes, they had a great direct. Yes, there are a bunch of games, and to Joe's detriment, he's right. That's what they get over on Microsoft, because all the games that we showed outside of Metroid Prime, all those games are coming out this year, versus Microsoft, where you had out of their showcase of 50 plus games, I think less than 7 are going to be coming out this year. The rest of them are coming out next year, even though it's going to be on day one Game Pass, but it's next year. So I give Joe credit for that. Nintendo is thinking ahead and going ahead and getting money now with this year versus pushing back games another year. But that's what I was saying as far as it being safe. I just want them to give you have the platform to do something different. That's what I'm getting at. I'm like, don't get me wrong. It was a great direct showcase, but I'm nitpicking at the fact that I just want them to do something different.
But to that degree, you're also playing safe on the Microsoft because you have your Gears, you have your Call of Duty, you have your Fable, you got your Dragon Age, which, again, I said is going to not escape the shadow of Baldur's Gate 3. This is not.
Probably not.
It's been a minute since Gears or Fable have come out, though, haven't they?
Yeah, Gears. The last time we saw Gears 5 was almost going on 9 years. But again, I'm not going to disagree with Joe. He's right. Microsoft didn't go out of their wheelhouse either. They sat there and said, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So the same argument I can apply to Nintendo is the same argument I can apply to Microsoft. You went safe because you didn't want to venture out into new IPs. Now, that could be because of game studios closing. It could be because IPs right now are risque, because we've seen what happened with Redfall. We've seen what happened with Kill the Justice League Suicide Squad. Some of these games could be studio killers. We've seen it. So I can make. So I mean, I completely agree. I mean, I can't argue against you when I sit there and say it's safe. Both Microsoft and Nintendo played safe. It's just that I have a little more hope in Nintendo because they do take a lot more quality. They do take a lot more quality than Microsoft does. Like, for lack of better words, Nintendo doesn't really put out crap.
No. The other reason why I said it was better, I liked it more than Microsoft, is Microsoft really only, not entirely, and I'm being very broad in this, but they generally stick to one genre, which is the FPS, and they very rarely does Microsoft venture out of there. They do. Don't get me wrong. We get some banger games on Xbox and whatnot, but 9 times out of 10, the majority of your library is nothing but pew, 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 pew. We're Nintendo. We are serviced with RPGs. We have a farming game where we farm foxes to fight stone giants that we did not show. We just got the final part of the Ace Attorney franchise that never got brought to Japan, to where we get to be a prosecutor for a change. We get
Ace Attorney has an ending.
He said Ace Attorney has an ending.
It does have an ending, but like we never got the Miles Edgeworth investigations where you're doing the prosecuting and the crime scene investigation before the defense attorney investigation gets in there. So you're doing all the Miles Edgeworth stuff.
Okay.
But
so we probably get that. We get more gaming. We get first person with Metroid. We get Pokemons. We get like a gambit of stuff in Nintendo Directs.
But I will say this though, just to put a bow on it: imports, stop holding up. stop holding out on the imports. That's all I gotta say. Please stop holding out.
You're gonna sit there and tell me that those ears of foxes are an American product?
No, but they're not. Well,
I never understood.
I'm gonna sit there, farm stalks of corn that turn into foxes. I promise you, that is not an English game.
It's not, but I have to stop. It's not, but I have to stop myself from going into safe word territory. That's why I was like,
we just got Godzilla and Dave the Diver.
I get that, but it's like there's some, and again, not to get down the rabbit hole, there's some import games that are across the pond that I would love to play that, despite whatever reason it may be, I've always sat there and said, don't hold up, share. Because there's some
actually is getting better about that. I mean, we got Super Robot Wars 30.
Yeah, but there's other games out there too. Like
we're definitely never going to get a Kamen Rider game, even though it is getting popular in Japan. We did get Ultraman because not Monster Hunter, Monster Rancher actually did bring over the Ultraman Monster Rancher game.
That is true, but I'm just saying from the import side, just let that forbidden door open. That's all I'm saying. But I didn't want to get to this because also Tafari did bring this up, and now I'm going to go looking for it now that he's informed me of this. Jak and Daxter are available on the PS4 and PS5 today. Not just one Jak and Daxter, every Jak and Daxter game. If you play Ratchet and Clank, 9 times out of 10 you play Jak and Daxter. Both are fun. The story is pretty good. I remember the Jak and Daxter story a little bit. Definitely worth playing if you have the chance. But again, if you haven't, it's a nice little. Help me out here, guys. How can I describe Jak and Daxter?
I have a love-hate relationship with this series because I bought 2 and 3, but every single mainline game has an identity crisis. The first one is very clearly supposed to be a Mario. Number 2 is very clearly GTA. And number 3 is Mad Max.
That's what it was for us as kids. You could steal cars, shoot people, get chased by cops. This was Jak 2.
That's exactly what it was.
Jak 2 was GTA for kids who were not allowed to play GTA. And the fact, also, such a drastic change from the first game where you're doing like you're this eco-friendly mute warrior who can't speak, and you're chasing yak cows, and you're shooting eco and fighting the lurkers. Versus, I didn't beat the game when I was a kid, so I didn't pick up that the thing you find at the very end is the time travel sphere that you use in the beginning of the second game. And we
Okay.
start off with, hey, kidnap this teenager, beat him down. I've never seen someone get beat so bad they learn how to talk. They beat Jack senseless. They beat sense into Jack in jail for 2 years that he grew facial hair and learned to swear. And then Daxter was apparently out here killing bugs the whole time. And that's what I like about, because I beat the first 3. So the collection you can get on the PSN store, it's been out for years. I think it's like $20 an hour if you wait for a PlayStation sale. It's always cheap. First one's easy to beat. You're gonna need to cheat on 2 and 3 because God, the precursor orbs are just awful. Then Sly Cooper also came back out. I just platinumed that last weekend. And Daxter, for a PSP port, runs actually very smoothly on a PS5 or a PS4. They give you 2 versions. You can get the PS4, the PS5. They run very smoothly. They're only $10 a piece, so by all means, if you have like a day to kill, go for it. But they also, what I love, and I think more games need to do, like with Marvel vs. Capcom with the quick save, this rewind feature is like godlike, because there are certain stages and certain trophies they put where it's like, hey, beat this level but don't kill any enemies. So instead of having to do that and start all the way over, you can literally pause the game, go back frame by frame through what you're doing, get the trophy, and not have to start all the way over. Like there's one mission in Sly Cooper where it's like jump over this area to take a shortcut, but you miss like 15 collectibles if you do it. You can do the shortcut, get the trophy, and literally rewind like 10 seconds. Or if you're trying to get like a perfect no-hit boss run, it's maybe not for mainstream games because I feel like people would complain or cry, but for old stuff like this, it is perfect. Or even in like the old Jack games, you're trying to make that jump to get the collectible and you have to climb all the way back up. Nope, just rewind 5 seconds.
I didn't even know it had rewind features on 2 and 3.
Yeah,
they didn't. On the original collection, they didn't. Somebody.
No, I didn't on this one.
Yeah. So on Daxter and Sly, they have it, but Jack 1 through 3 are as is. But somebody 6 years ago apparently found out they put a debug mode in the game, because my also complaint with this, which Daxter was made by an outside team, but a team that really cared, because when you look at it, they did a good job of, hey, where was Daxter for 2 years, and filled in the blanks really well. They also did a good job of connecting it, because the metalheads, before they became, you even knew what they were coming in small because they hadn't fully mutated yet. So people thought they were just insects. So Daxter was an exterminator for 2 years and didn't understand he was fighting what would end up becoming the big boss when him and Jack reunited. And they added a feature that when you go to each area, it tells you how many collectibles are hidden in this spot, how many are hidden in this spot. Whereas when they ported them to the PS3 and PS4, I'm like, why did y'all not add this or fix the fact that if you leave certain levels before the orbs finish counting, it glitches out and you can't get them back. So I figured out how to do the debug mode on 2 and 3, had to do the glitch with like a second controller to max out the count and then turn the game off. And because I was not collecting all those. Jack 2 has 300, I believe, and Jack 3 has 600.
But all 6 games are definitely available for PS4 and PS5. So I guess I got something to do this weekend because I don't got plans. So this is gonna be fun.
Collectively, that is a great $40 spent, because you get Jack 1 through 3 and Jack X Racing, which I haven't played, but I've heard is really good. Daxter is really good. It's only the first one, but the first Sly Cooper is back up there, and that's a really fun run too. So you can skip Lost Frontier though. That shit should have never been made. That is the Dragon Ball evolution of this franchise, and we don't know who or why Naughty Dog. That was the downfall, I feel like, of PlayStation for a bit, because Jack, Ratchet, and who else am I trying to think of? Jack, Ratchet, and Sly, especially because they had a crossover game, they could have been the next generation of mascots next to Spyro and Crash. And all 5 kind of just got dropped. PlayStation will never have a problem having like standout characters or games, but it just felt weird that those 5 just went by the wayside.
It is a fair point, but let us know in the comments what you guys think, because again, it is out there. It is out there for you guys to catch on PS4 and PS5, so definitely check that out. A little bit more quick news that we have before we get to our comic pulls. First and foremost, My Adventures with Superman. If you haven't been watching it, you really should. On Max, it is definitely a good series. They have just now been greenlit for season 3. If you have not seen the animation, that's on Max and also on Cartoon Network. You are definitely missing out. I don't want to spoil it because it deserves to be watched from beginning to end. And I'm glad this is getting a season 3. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
I mean, they gave us Android 18 as Supergirl for a good bit of an episode, so I'm not complaining. I am trying to find ways to watch this a little bit easier because I'm really not awake past 11 o'clock anymore. The joys of being in your 40s.
HBO Max is where I've been watching, but it does come on Toonami. But yes, the Android 18 shout out, finding out what we know about the Kryptonians and their angle this time around, and seeing that some people are on some Viltrumite type of timing. It's a fun ride. It's a unique and different take, and I would very much tap into it if you haven't already. I'm enjoying every episode. Yeah,
definitely second that. Also, we do have an update on the animated series for Spider-Man. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man will get a Disney Plus premiere. However, the date had to be shelved. Because initially, Screen Rant had claimed that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man would be coming out this November. It has since been debunked because they weren't able to actually get a confirmed source on that. However, we still may see it debut sometime this fall. Again, this is basically, and me and Joe covered this a while back. I think during D23 when they first came out with this. That this is going to be a standalone in the MCU. It's not really following anything that's currently going on with Spider-Man, especially in the Tom Holland Spider-Man series. But it's also, while it's supposed to be different, we did have some concerns on how they would do this because they are kind of reverting Spider-Man back to a high school, what do we say, Joe, a 9th grader or a 10th grader?
Is this the one that was supposed to be freshman year?
Yeah, this is freshman year. It's still a prequel to Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Okay, because the way they were saying this, it's going to be different from the current MCU. But like I said, initially it was given a November date. However, it wasn't able to be confirmed. So Screen Rant did retract that. But we are going to see it this fall. But how do we feel about it? Is it? Do we still have concerns? Do we think it's going to be great? Should we just let it marinate?
I need to see a little bit more because they've been on and off with it will or won't be Tom Holland related for the last 4 years. So at this point, show me what we're doing, and I will just see how I feel about it then.
Okay, Joe.
I always welcome a new Spider-Man series. Hopefully it doesn't fall as flat as Disney's Spider-Man or Marvel's Spider-Man, which was by no means a bad entry. It was just a very flat entry. I mean, even Ultimate Spider-Man got a little bit better the longer it went on, but the early seasons were complete and utter hot trash with the constant fourth wall breaking BS stuff. The stuff.
The Drake Bell Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, the Drake Bell, like I said, it got better as it went on, but that early stuff was terrible. But unfortunately, Drake Bell also had to be in the shadow of Spectacular Spider-Man, one of the 2 greatest Spider-Man animated series of all time. So we'll see. Like I said, you got half a banger, just kind of there. I mean, Marvel Spider-Man was probably as good as MTV's attempt at Spider-Man.
Yeah. That's a fair point. But like I said, I'm with that. I can let it marinate because, again, and Marvel is kind of taking more of a quality over quantity, so it can still be great. We just don't have a release date on that yet, so looks like it will be this fall, but again, we don't have a release date, so definitely stay tuned as we will definitely report it once it has been confirmed by Marvel. Also, speaking of the rumor mill, Death Note, an anime I never thought would ever get brought up again since Netflix decided to make a horrible thing out of it. Well, in the world, because a lot of fans, they follow trademark applications, which means that they're assigning something. It means either something's coming down the pipe, either something is being planned for, things of that nature. Well, someone had noted that on the other side had found trademark application for Death Note Killer Within. Now, again, let me stress this very heavily. No one has said anything about Death Note since the Netflix adaptation. Does this mean that maybe there may be new content coming out for Death Note? We do not know right now, because again, it has been a very long time since then. For everybody to remember the story of Death Note, it pretty much had a beginning and an end. But if they do decide to go with this, that means that I guess old boy is getting another turn with the Death Note book, and I'm not talking about Light, Shinigami Rourke. So, how do we feel about this? If this is true, and they are moving forward with a new chapter in the Death Note saga, are we hype about this, or is it one and done, or is it being a dead horse?
It could be the one-shot chapter they dropped a few years ago, which was actually a really good read. Mm-hmm. They could be getting ready to either animate or do some kind of distribution with that, because a lot of people are asking to get that animated or get it redone or reimagined in some way, and they just never did anything with it. So could be, but I didn't know people follow trademarks as heavy. And not everything was going to give us not every trademark is going to give us Sparking Zero reveals.
Right. Joe?
I never cared about Death Note, and I don't see myself caring now.
Well, fair enough. I thought Death Note, the original Death Note, I thought was pretty interesting. It definitely did have my attention. The anime and the manga both. Again, could it be a manga? I mean, could it be another anime? Possibly. Could it be a mobile game? Possibly. But right now, the fact that it's kind of just been put out there for a trademark application just gets a lot of buzz going. But until someone says something, it's all speculation. But I would be curious to see if they do that one shot Death Note post Light. I would be curious to see it. Just don't let Netflix try again, because I'm sorry, Netflix. I'm not trying to knock you guys. You did great with One Piece. I'm happy for you. You didn't, because if you ruined One Piece, you would never be allowed to touch an anime again. You did great with One Piece, so hold on to that. What are you gonna say, Tafari?
I was saying, I was agreeing, but Willem Dafoe, I think, did a good job as Ryuk. He was selling that role, and that's part of what got me on board. But everything else, they kind of just dropped the ball on. But yeah, the one shot was great, because that dude is like, if you had a real reader in the actual series, it was just like, I'm not doing any of these stupid normal main hero traits. Here's the fact that he manages to upset the demons as well as like all of humanity by the end of it. Yeah. And it's just like even people in hell are just like, you know what? For the first time ever, brand new rules about how we do this, because this was not supposed to go this way.
Right. So it's like I said, if they decide to go that route, I'm down for it, but that kind of remains to be seen at this moment. But I didn't want to cover other movie news, because this is definitely confirmed. Again, it's just showing our age. Spaceballs sequel is in the works with Josh Gad, which is that gentleman down there, with Mel Brooks producing, that gentleman down there. Now, if you've ever seen Spaceballs, first off, cult classic, probably wouldn't be able to get away with it in this day and age. But if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to play a few clips from it and let you guys go from there as far as why we find this interesting.
No. Please. No, not that.
Yes, that.
Sanders! Sir! What's the matter with this thing? What's all that churning and bubbling? You call that a radar screen?
No, sir. We call it Mr. Coffee.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here on this most joyous occasion to witness Princess Vespa, daughter of King Roland, going right past the altar, heading down the ramp and out the door.
Will you turn that thing off? What? What is it?
Be down immediately.
Shall I have Snotty beam you down, sir?
I don't know about that beaming stuff. Is it safe?
Oh, yes, sir. Snotty beamed me twice last night. It was wonderful.
All right, I'll take a shot at it. What the hell? It works on Star Trek.
Who is he?
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole.
And his cousin?
He's an asshole, too, sir. Gun is made first class Philip Asshole.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what?
The what?
And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
Sir, the radar, sir. It appears to be
jammed. Jammed. Raspberry. My brains are going into my feet.
What the hell was that?
Spaceball 1.
They've gone to plaid.
Here it is, sir. Spaceballs.
Good work, Corporal. Punch it up. That's much too early. Prepare to fast forward.
Preparing to fast forward.
Fast forward.
Fast forwarding, sir.
Try here. Stop.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed that.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
When will then be now?
Soon.
Abandon ship! Women and marks first! Oh.
We'll have none of that, mister. How far did he get? What did he touch? What did he touch? Nothing happened.
What the hell was that noise?
That was my Virgin alarm. It's programmed to go off before you do. You get back to bed, miss. And as for you, sex fiend.
All right. Let's all just get some sleep. We gotta get moving before dawn. Why so early? Because we're in the middle of a desert, and we aren't gonna get very far once that blazing sun gets overhead.
Nice dissolve.
Okay, so I got to stop it right there just because we'll be at the point to where that's going to be definitely gone or we get banned. But that, guys, to give you an idea of what Spaceballs is, yes, it does take a lot of Star Wars. At the same time, guys, it is definitely fun to watch. So with the sequel being done, I'll go first. I'm sold. Tafari, Joe, what do you guys think?
Showing my age because I've never actually seen Spaceballs. I've seen clips, but that was my first time seeing some of that stuff.
All right, Joe.
This isn't called The Search for More Money, We Riot.
It needs to be called Search for More Money. But yes, the one thing I will point out that of course Josh Gad will be playing the lead. Yes, Obi. Josh Gad will be playing the lead. Mel Brooks will be directing. I'm gonna be honest. If Rick Moranis is not in this, I will be heavily disappointed. I just can't see anybody playing Darth Hat without him. That's just me. But again, more information on that as it will come out. And I see, let us know in the comments what you guys definitely think about that. Before we get to our Acolyte and the boys reviews, Joe, do you want to explain this one? Because you did point out about the casting for Batman Caped Crusader.
Yeah, so I found this on Grace McKenna's Instagram since she's a Ghostbuster. And we pretty much have our Batman narrating the names of who is in the cast. We don't know what roles they're playing, but we do get all the names of who's going to be in the cast.
Okay, but I think it does got some audio, so let me see if I can get it to play again.
In Gotham, a mask can hold the power to hide who you are or create who you are. But the time has come to shed our masks and unveil the heroes and villains of Batman, Caped Crusader. McKenna Grace, Toby Stevens, Reed Scott, Dan Donahue, Gary Anthony Williams, Jason Watkins, John DiMaggio, Crystal Joy Brown, Michelle Bonilla, Eric Morgan Stewart, Tom Kenny, Minnie Driver, Diedrich Bader, Jamie Chung, Christina Ricci, and I'm Hamish Linklater. I am Batman.
So I'm not against it. I would actually give this a listen. That's definitely going to be on Prime. But yeah, I'm intrigued. What do you guys think?
I really hope John DiMaggio is back as Joker because him and Death in the Family or Under the Red Hood were both very. Those are very great performances. I feel like he could definitely be the new main person for it. Because taking that very twisted Bender role and turning it into that character, did they say if Kevin has any parts in this or not before he passed?
I want to say no, but Joe, do you know that for sure? You muted, Joe.
You too. Tell him, Obi.
Obi is just happy to be here. Okay. We might have to double check that. I don't think Kevin Conroy was involved in this, but I'll probably do some research just to make sure about that. But still looks pretty fun. I definitely want to give that a shot once it comes on Prime. But I do got one question as far as Star Wars: The Acolyte, Episode 4, because again, this is the one time I will say in Star Wars that I have very limited knowledge of what's going on. Somebody's got to explain this guy to me, because again, we talked about this on Blurred's Eye View. Of course, Lady Mandalore, who's also in the comments, and Geek by Heart, Lady, who are definitely Star Wars fans and people I lean on to in this type of lore. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say this about Episode 4. Episode 4 really felt like a lead up to action, and then you cut it when the action happens. Because this guy who walked up, I'm assuming it's a guy, this individual walks up to May, and all you see is a lightsaber and then fade to black. And beforehand, it was really just a lot of catch up since we were learning about the twins and that they were created. They were created from the Force through means, which again ticks off a lot of so-called Star Wars fans. You'll get over it. But yeah, I wanted to see what this person can do, and they cut to black this episode. But what did you guys think?
I guess I have to remind myself this is technically a murder mystery show and not another saber action show. Although this was very lacking on the action. I feel very blue-balled by the Wookiee Jedi because
you're right. The way they did pop up. I'm sorry.
Eerie, unexpected, and silent. But same thing Tony Weaver said. Do not cut to next episode and everyone's laid out and down for the count, and we're like on the last person fighting for their life. I want to see if anybody else gets bodied. I need to see it happen. Don't let me find them just on the ground with marks, because the most action we got was from the space cicada, which apparently there's only one of them.
I didn't even get to see the Wookiee fight. I wanted to see the Wookiee fight.
I was so disappointed by that. If there's a low point in this season, I'm hoping it's only this episode.
Right. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
I like the community is calling him Smilo Ren.
I can't unsee it now, so thanks, Joe.
I was gonna say Chainsaw Man with the lightsaber, but
it looks like
I was looking at this. I watched it. It was okay. I mean, I was just like, fine. I don't see the big hatred everybody's going up on this one. Just the only thing is, like, if we do cut to it, at least 3 people have names. So Cord, Tancrus, and Soul, and I guess Basil will be fine. The other kids that are over with them that don't even have name tags, they stand no chance. They're gonna go down almost instantly.
I can't see that now. Darth Smile.
If they do, if they do go down, you know what it looks like? It looks like the what was the other one? The Blade Devil. If they just took the blade out of the forehead.
Yeah. Shoot. I can't think of his name. I can't think of the name of Sim Life right now. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
No, he's the other devil we've met so far that isn't the gun devil. But yeah, I just all that build up, and then we get not even anything smooth. We get like a gentle tap on Osha, and then a force push for everybody. Which are we like in the baby phases of the force? Because why is everybody so gentle with it all of a sudden?
Right.
I don't know why I thought in Star Wars the further back you go, the more wild people were with these things. I might have been wrong.
Right.
Also, why did you were point blank? You didn't think to maybe shoot him?
I'm right there with you, but I'm curious. Like I said, it's amazing we have to sit here and wait. We have to literally sit here and wait. And thank you, Lainey. If you are enjoying this episode, please subscribe and like buttons. But yeah, it's the fact that we are now, getting to this point to where it's a lot more action. And then again, shout out to the beginning of this. If you have not seen the first, and this is episode 4, if you haven't seen the first 3 episodes of this, a lot of the fight choreography was not with lightsabers. So if there's anything, it's definitely a breath of fresh air with the new Star Trek series. Star Wars. Sorry.
Also,
words.
Apparently Ki-Adi-Mundi is here, but not Yoda. So I don't know what that's about, but the Star Wars fans are outraged because in the first episode, he says, there hasn't been a Sith for a millennia, which technically this person has not declared themselves a Sith yet.
Right.
But then apparently there was a civil war on the wiki page to change his birth year, and people were going back and forth. And then I guess the mods of the website of Wikipedia had to go and lock down his page because it was getting out of hand.
Bombarded. Right. So yeah, and I agree, Midnight. I agree, guys. It is definitely confusing, especially the lore with the lore they're trying to go with, and of course, the gatekeepers out there are trying to sit there and tell them nope. But yeah, there's Kira. I'm going to get her on here I'm going to get Kira back on here one day so she can definitely fill in the blanks. Because if anybody knows Star Wars lore, it'll definitely be her. But again, great episode if you haven't watched it. Highly recommend that you do. I can't get Darth Smile out of my head now. Thanks, Joe. Every time I see it now, it's going to be Darth. Just a smile.
I just need to see 800-year-old Yoda at this point because I didn't know Ki-Adi was that. I didn't know his people could live that long. But knowing Yoda is somewhere walking around that temple, who knows? Maybe even walking without a stick. But I'm curious if they fix the lore with maybe they sweep all this under the rug. Maybe nobody makes it out.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see. But let us know in the comments what you thought about episode 4. Again, like I said, it was great. We just wanted that action. Now we gotta wait till episode 5 to see it. But moving on to the boys. Again, how can I explain this? Kids should not be watching the boys. So I'm assuming all adults are watching the boys. Or if a kid is watching this, they are going to be emotionally scarred for a little while. So again, with the newest episode of The Boys, there is nothing else I could say. But how do we say it so far before we started? It was pretty much who could outdo each other.
I've said it. The show is great, but it's giving season 3 of Jessica Jones. Except we actually have a bad guy, so everyone is just making the worst possible decisions for themselves just because. After all these years in trust, Kimiko and Frenchie are just not telling each other stuff anymore. Frenchie's relapsing, and no one else is picking up. When the most honest person in the group is Butcher, there's a problem.
The one who had the one who's the voice of reason. When he's the voice of reason, and this is the dead man. I still laughed about the fact of when you have how can I put this so nicely? Homelander is basically having a falling down moment where he decided to go back to I guess where of his birth, and well, for lack of better purposes, decided to take out some people in like the worst ways. I can't blame Starlight. Starlight beating the crap out of Firecracker was probably the. Hi, son. Hi, son.
Tell us the tales of your people, Obi.
Tell us more, Obi. What else? But no, Starlight beating the crap out of Firecracker, that was deserved. The fact that, like I said, going back to Frenchie just going on a different tear with something else. And then, there was that moment that Butcher was about to get choked out, and then everything
What was that?
I think that was his power, because he did sit there.
One?
I think he did, because when Huey sat there and said, Huey had the compound V and sat there and said, "There's enough for you and my father," and he turned around and said, "Well, I already took some and nothing happened." And then he's been seeing his dead wife. He's been seeing his former ex-wife, and then getting choked out, and then blacking out, and then waking up. It looks like an episode. It looks like a scene out of Silent Hill, and he's like, "I don't know what happened." Something tells me he does have a power, but it's more subconscious than anything else.
I am not 100% that Huey's mom is here.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we've seen her directly interact with anyone else. But then there's also the double thing of you sell like herbs on behalf of Vought, and your dad tried to call you before he... Did they say what happened? He just slipped and fell, or he just was found up?
He basically slipped and fell and then kind of went into a coma. And they
something's up with Huey's dad. Either mom is a good actor and just some shill, or I don't think his mom is there. I think she might be imaginary, because Huey was one dose away from brain tumor himself. Yeah. But as far as the only reason I'm giving Starlight less grief about this is because it was all orchestrated by Sister Sage.
Yeah, she had that thing planned from Jump Street. But yeah, I mean, another thing that did kind of bother me was I never saw her get the compound V from Huey. Huey had it in his pocket the entire time, so I'm trying to figure out how she was able.
I'm like, did he leave? I had to watch. I'm like, did he leave his jacket in the room, or did she?
I think she swiped it off of him, because I was like, how does she have V and this? And she's and I thought about it. I said, well, who's not saying she didn't have V the entire time? But more than likely, she probably did swipe it off of him and decide to inject his father with it. But again, that's crazy itself. And then you have what else do we get into? The fact that Sister Sage, again, we're gonna try to be
that whole scene just. It's not even graphic, but the thought of doing that to yourself is just.
But
it makes my body writhe and my skin crawl, and then they were doing that. I was like pacing nervously around the room and covering my face, because I can't ingest that content. As he's like with the tool and the hand, and of all people, the Deep was impressed with this.
So I gotta explain this. If you have not seen the latest episode of The Boys, this is basically going to spoiler territory. So Sister Sage and the Deep were having a conversation where she sat there and says, my brain, everybody's brain stopped growing at 25. Unfortunately, mine doesn't. However, I did notice that if my brain is partially compromised, that it will grow back, and apparently makes her smarter. So she looks the deep, and how can I put this ever so correctly? If you've ever seen how they explain how Egyptians take the brains out of people, let's just go with those tools in her eye. And as Safari was saying, it's not the visual. Whoever is the sound mix person for this episode, you the truth.
Yeah,
because the sound is what gets you. Visually, yes, but the sound is what gets you. As he's literally nailing beyond the eyeball into her brain to a little bit, to where her brain gets compromised again, and then the smartest person becomes slow. And of course, from there, she's gonna regenerate back smarter. But to Tafari's detriment on that, yeah, that was kind of a hard scene to watch. I'm not gonna lie about how difficult of a scene that was to watch.
I guess it makes her like her own version of high for a little bit, but like,
yeah,
I'm curious to what. I want to see more of what happened with her and A-Train back in the day, where she doesn't even want to be herself for a couple hours, because to do that to your, I mean, why do you need him if you can do it to yourself? But also, I would be surprised if the way she gets killed off this season, if somebody walks in on them and he like hits too hard.
I mean, it's just the whole thing of just the fact that she has to knock herself stupid. Because that's the whole thing. Because you saw what her next response was after he did that. I was like, and he's right back to being the black.
I'm like, can I get you some peroxide or something first? I don't want to look at the crater in your face while you're like it. And then is it because you're too stupid to care, or do you actually like me? You just start to see past yourself for it. My feelings would probably be hurt. But speaking of feelings, like, everything we've done the last 4 seasons, cyberbullying is what gets you.
Yeah.
While in politics, the place where you need to think and strategize the most is where we decide to start keeping secrets. And your biggest secret was that you were a bully at like 13, and because you didn't just tell them that, the worst other things got revealed like 2 minutes later. And it feels weird that everyone's giving her crap. It's like, oh, she beat her up. I'm like, there were HIPAA laws violated and abortion papers put on blast. Are we just skipping past that for the sake of Starlight's a mean girl again? Like,
all I gotta sit there and say is Starlight figured out how to fly. Starlight's flying abilities improved between this episode and the last one. She got there smooth as all get out and started laying her out.
Like, if this was season 1 through 3, they would have had her admit to being a mean girl, go over there, flip the Christian narrative from like their childhood days and play the forgiveness card. And even if she tried the abortion thing, well, all sins are equal. Shouldn't we stop hurting each other? But because it's like we need stuff to fill the gaps, we're all just doing the dumbest things. Like, you do this when you're running for politics of all times? And nobody tried to stop you from going outside either?
But the crazy part was the fact, like you said, it played all in the Sister Sage's playbook.
That's the only reason I'm letting it slide. I'm like, okay, this was a setup from Sage because the racist white girl kept trying her in the office. Yeah. I'll let it go. But everything else...
Although what's funny, just for additional notes on this, everybody's like, this, there are those out there that say this is the worst season ever of The Boys. And I'm like, how is it the worst? Because if you haven't noticed what The Boys have been doing, they've basically been doing satire off of what's going on really in our society. And at the same time, if you haven't noticed who Firecracker is based off of,
the combo we had last night about why did people do this whole woke agenda grift, and she said it, she's selling them a lie just to make a quick buck or make them feel better about themselves.
Oh yeah, money.
Even when they set up the stage and had the fake crowd and you see there's actually nobody outside.
Oh, money. And she sat there and called it. Although she was kind of mad about her multiplicity friend, but let's just be honest, that's something you can't unsee.
And it's just like, oh, you blinded somebody during your first save. I'm like, we just watched a teenager push a man into a building and go splat. I feel like it's not as big a deal as you're making it.
Right. But that's the mind games. That's what I said. That's what I said with that with Sister Sage. That was literally mind games to a T, and she ran with it. I know, Obi, but yeah. But let us know what you guys think, because honestly, that alone is crazy. And then think about it is that was only episode 4. We still have 6 more to go.
Are we getting 10 this season?
I believe so.
I was gonna be sad if it's 8 because we got almost half on the first day.
Because I want to say, and let me just do a one quick check, because I want to say it's 10 episodes, but just 1 second.
And then we got the slight nod to Gen V at the beginning of this episode, and I'm hoping.
Oh yeah, the fact that they sat there and said that the rampage that did happen, and all of a sudden the hole they were put into, that is definitely saying a lot. And they need to be honest about it.
I'm curious if we see any of those characters again this season, because I think Marie, the fact that her and Victoria have met, I feel like Marie is going to be our key to stopping her.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how they bring her in, if at all.
Okay, so I stand corrected. It is 8 episodes. So we're halfway through. So with this, we are actually halfway through with Wisdom of the Ages. So that means the next 4 episodes, things are about to get real freaking interesting. And with the Gen V crossover, that itself is going to be that's going to be something else. But again, like you said, old girl with the blood, I think is going to be the way that you beat her, because you're not going to. I mean, if you were watching The Boys episode 1, as far as what they did to the head popper, you threw acid on her. She took a bullet to the head. She got mad about you just messing her suit up with Gucci. That's it.
Also, whoever's running Vought on Twitter and did the Juneteenth post with Sister Sage and A-Train and Black Noise.
That was great. That's marketing. That's what that is. That is great marketing. But again, let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you were grossed out, or if you were intrigued, or if you learned something about the human anatomy, definitely let us know. I was trying to see where Joe was. He still might be out. So
are Kimiko and Frenchie together in the comics?
No.
Okay.
Kimiko and Frenchie are not.
Okay, because it feels weird to tell me this has been the power of friendship this entire time between those two. And if there was a moment last season where she was like, "Hey, we're not a thing," it went over my head because I went back looking for it, and it feels like I missed the conversation with this whole thing with Colin, because they're trying to make me care for this guy, and I don't. He's Abby from Last of Us. Just do what I know you're gonna kill him off horribly. Get it over with.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the fact that she seemed like she was getting upset about it in the beginning. So it's like, why are you pushing away? You came up with the whole sign language to talk to. Because why?
And the fact she's using the cell phone now to speak to everybody. Although I do have to give it to her.
But them two still use their hand signals, and then her sister, again, who we're just not going to tell Frenchie you have another sibling, because why are we keeping secrets from each other?
Yeah, it is kind of season 2. It is kind of season 2 all over again, but we'll definitely see. Well, I guess we'll have to keep on going on, because I was trying to. Oh, there he is. I was going to say, you good, Joe?
Filibuster complete.
I messaged you in the Facebook chat.
Oh, I wasn't even looking at that, man. My bad.
I got my phone.
All right, cool. So that's pretty much for our news. But before we do get to our comic news of the week, we definitely always want to give a shout out to Rick's Comic City, because you basically see our mugs on their television shows. So television stations. They are number one Nashville place in Nashville for comic books, for mangas, for animes, collector's items, things of that nature. Anything nerdy you can definitely find there. You can definitely check out the locations in Nashville and Clarksville, Tennessee, as well as rickscomiccity.com, So definitely, if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely give them a shout. Let them know the guys at Get Bit sent you. It doesn't get you any discounts, but again, they show us love. We want to show them love back. So definitely check them out if you are in the Middle Tennessee area. If you are not in the Middle Tennessee area, guys, please support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries. Again, Amazon is good. Barnes & Noble is good. Any place with a Starbucks, I get it. But there's just something that when you go into a comic book store, it's an experience that you alone should not hold to yourself. You should share with others because, again, you can find great books. You can find great collector's items. And then, again, you can find a lot of friends. If you don't believe me, go to a free comic book day in your local area, and you will have fun with it. Also, with libraries, guys, especially out to kids, read the banned books. We cannot stress enough, guys, about reading those banned books. Why? Because there are things in there that you need to learn that they're scared of you that you should learn, and you'll be better off for it. So again, guys, support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries. You will miss them when they're gone. But we do have comic pools to go into, Joe, so just let me know when you're ready, sir. As Obi is waiting with anticipation. This is about the quietest you've ever been, because every time I started talking, you want to talk. Are you waiting on the comics? Are you waiting on comics? You are? I feel like you're slightly judging our comics, but go ahead. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, you're good. All right, so in a rare twist, we will actually be looking at Batman 149. It's written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Michael Bandini and Steve Lever, with cars by Nick Feraldi. We are slowly moving into the summer event, Absolute Power. So certain things about the Batman book kind of have to go and become normal again. Because remember, even though we very rarely cover Batman, Batman lost a hand in the recent arc and was running around with a metal cyborg hand. Well, there is a clone of Bruce Wayne acting as a Robin because that was Zernar's Robin, was 8-year-old clone Batman. However, much like Metal Gear, this clone ages super duper fast. I wonder where Bruce Wayne's going to get a new hand from. We'll never know. We also reset Bruce Wayne back to being a multi-billionaire. Bruce gets a new mansion because the current mansion is currently still being used by Vandal Savage. So we got to reset a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And this is pretty much what this book is about. Let's reset Batman back to normal just in time for the
Absolute Power. Yeah. It was interesting. I kind of did get a whole Guns of the Patriots feel from this story, but you're right. This was one big old reset for Absolute Power.
Also, because it's go back 149, so I don't know what they're doing because they're about to hit 150. So I have no idea what the next big thing is going to be for them. But good issue.
Yeah, agreed.
Next up, Wonder Woman number 10. This is written by Tom King with art by Daniel Sampere, and Tamu Mori is colors. Pretty much the Wonder Girl trio try to find the invisible jet, but guess what? It's invisible. So that's a little bit difficult. When they do find it, hilarity. Meanwhile, Diana has been lost after freeing herself from the
Sovereign.
The Sovereign. She now winds up on Cheetah's Island, who I guess Cheetah has been somewhat mind wiped or something from the Sovereign, because last time she was on Wonder Woman's team and they had worked stuff out, but now they got to work stuff out again. But still, good fight, good comedy. God, I love Yara Flor in this book. That woman just look, I'm Wonder Woman. I'm not Wonder Girl. I'm never going to be Wonder Girl. But I really like this issue. Do you think this was better than the last couple?
It has. Tom King just has some hits and misses. This one was a hit because it started to feel like it was when she was kind of going through her mental torture / therapy session. And I was like, that it wasn't this. I did like the fact that it was using Yara and using the others was introducing humor. I did like the fact that it did kind of give a more deeper story between Tigra and between Cheetah and Wonder Woman. So yeah, I did enjoy this one.
Yay. Well, it's just a good book, and of course, Daniel Sampere is still doing some of the best art in DC at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have Absolute Power. Now, notice that DC learned from the last time we had an event, and the entire line is now wiped out.
Yep.
I guess they learned that when people take a break from buying your books for 2 months, maybe replacing the entire line is not a good idea.
Right. Well, I mean, it took them 2 months to figure that out. So I want to say lesson learned, but that jury's still out on that one.
Yep. So June's going to get us Ground Zero with Green Lantern. July's getting us powers. Absolute Power #1, Task Force 7 #1, Origins #1, and Task Force 7, 2, and 3 with tie-ins with Batman 150, Green Lantern 13, Superman 16, Wonder Woman 11, and Green Arrow 14. And then that's it. This is Absolute Power's beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there will be more, but like just for June and July, these are the tie-ins. Not a great deal about them. It's pretty drop or miss. So, I mean, it's easier to swallow than the last time. Moving over to go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was making a joke, but go ahead.
Oh no, make the joke by all means.
No, you said it was easier to swallow. I was like, yeah, but that Infinite Crisis thing, nobody will forget that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was talking about Absolute Terror, Nightmares, Night Terrors.
That escaped my brain. I love that. I didn't even think about that. But you're not wrong about that either. But go ahead.
So moving on to tomorrow, we got Spider-Woman #8. This is written by Steve Fox with Guerrara as the artist and Arif Pernado as the colorist. We're just moving into the next chapter with Spider-Woman, where she's running across these kind of pseudo-teen version of the Avengers as she's trying to track down a way to de-age her son back into a toddler from an adult. That Hydra did this to her. And we learned that this Teen Avengers thing, led by a new Kid Hulk in power armor, may not be on the up and up.
He might not even be a kid, but that was still weird. The way he hopped out of that suit, I started getting Men in Black vibes.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind as well.
But no, still a good issue.
Next issue, we got Dracula #2 of 3. This is a Blood Hunt tie-in. This is written by Danny Lore with art by Vincenzo Corrado and colors by Daniel Cruel. Pretty much just Blade's daughter learning that her destiny is, so you got to kill your dad. And Dracula's like, yeah, you got to kill your dad. We need to get the vampires under control. And she gets a heart-to-heart with Daredevil.
That was a therapy session. I'm going to call that what it was.
Oh, yeah. No, that was definitely a therapy session. There was no way around that.
But I just love the fact that Dracula just came in there and was like, okay, are you done? Because we have things to do. And just completely just sat there and just told Matt, you insignificant creep. in the most English way you could insult somebody. He's like, you're insignificant and you're in my way. Please move. As you literally throw him into a building.
Pretty much.
Which great.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was definitely a good issue. It just killed me how Dracula is just immediately annoyed with everybody. He's like, I'm trying to solve your problem, but you guys want to sit here and go on all these different tangents. But it was still a good issue.
Black Panther Blood Hunt #2. There's not a lot of Black Panther in this Black Panther issue. It's mostly all the gods. It's like, okay, they're starting to desecrate the temples. We got to actually do something. Oh, Black Panther is also here.
I was gonna say, it's bad when Bass and Khonshu have to be like, yeah, we gotta work together, which is so weird. It's so weird to see the Egyptian gods and the African gods literally have to have a powwow. That's saying a lot.
I like that they actually denote that Khonshu is an African god. He's just an East African god, while the others are West African gods. Like, they actually denote, it's like, no, you're on that side of the room. Stay on your side of the room.
What did he say? You're on that. What was it? You're on that side of the river, or something like that.
Yeah, something like to that degree.
Yeah, because he was like, he tried to claim it, and Bass, the other was like, nah. But yeah, it was crazy that that the river god takes a challenge and says the only way I can save you is to send you to Atlantis. So does that mean that are we seeing Namor? Are we seeing Namor? Because that's my question. It's like, I'm like, you wound up in Atlantis. I'm like, are we getting Wakanda Forever vibes? Where in this case, it's gonna be Namor that saves you, which is saying a lot, but still, that's kind of the cliffhanger. I'm not gonna be mad about that one.
Actually, I don't think we've seen Namor in like a while since like one of the Hellfire galas.
Pretty much.
Anyways,
you're 100% right. I don't know.
One issue, I do like that this is primarily more about the African gods because we don't get a lot of that. It's interesting to see what the African gods are like, especially Bast, the African god that gives Gorilla Man his powers.
That's still funny. I thought you were supposed to be my champion, and I still have to save your ass. Damn. I was like, that's kind of low down to hear from your deity, but all right.
That's just not fair.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on over, we got Doctor Strange number 16, also a Blood Hunt tie-in written by Jed McKay, art by Pascal Ferry, and colors by Heather Moore. This is a Wong issue where Wong has to fight vampire Doctor Strange, whose body is now inhabited by Strange's evil brother Victor, who's a ghost. Who was trapped in a mirror and is now set free by Blade. Also in the mirror world is still Baron Mordo, Bats, and Cleo's snake, who I have no idea what her name is.
Although I'm going to laugh because is Mordo about to help save Strange's body?
Pretty much.
I just have that sinking feeling that Mordo's about to help, and that Victor, it's like Mordo's going to wind up assisting Wong, and Victor is going to be put right back, or not in a worse situation.
That or Mordo becomes an agent of Wand.
That too. Still, Mordo and Wand. Jesus.
Not bad. The penultimate issue for She-Hulk. This is written by Rainbow Rowell with art by Andreas Genelet and art by D. Knefi. She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts just returned to Jen's apartment from their vacation. Her apartment has been trashed by one of the Inhumans.
Right.
And then Carol comes and offers her own place, a new, better place on the city, and an Avengers membership. And now Jack of Hearts and She-Hulk's newest relationship issue is the new job and the move. Will they continue to remain together? I don't know, more than likely. But again, fantastic art, great book. I really like this sensational She-Hulk run. I wish it didn't have to run. I'm hoping after 10, it gets rebooted again with a different moniker.
I would like to think so, just because of the run it's had. It's really a successful one. So the fact that they are going to have her rejoin the Avengers again, I like to think that it's going to continue. At least I hope. That and Jack of Hearts is like, I can hide. I can fly. Jack's like, look, I can make it happen. I'm basically walking nuclear energy. It's not like I can't be there.
True. Invincible Iron Man 19. Rhodey's out of prison. Gets a smooth new look by the freshen up protocols.
If new look was
19, written by Jerry Dugan with art by Andrea Di Vito and colors by Brian Valenza. Basically, Brody says, "Hey, I'm gonna go west and start a work release Avengers," which I just like. You mean the Thunderbolt? You're just gonna make the Thunderbolts. In fact, you're making the Luke Cage iteration of the Thunderbolts.
While he has the let me leave that alone. I'll go say the MC Hammer fade. That's
no. The last time he had that haircut, Arsenio Hall was topping the charts on TV.
Damn, the Fresh Protocols.
Fari's losing it over in chat. Yeah, it's got the block top fade with the buzz between the cut and the lower cut.
He had the same. I was trying to think. I was saying which rapper had it.
Fari's got to Google this.
That's basically Big. I'm not gonna say Big L had that cut. It was either Big L or Cool Mo D. One of those two had that haircut.
No, I think it was the MC Hammer cut, but it was the last from Too Legit. But I think that was no, it was the MC Hammer Too Legit cut.
Yeah,
remember?
It was the yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's just he was referencing the fact that the last time he wore that it was when Arsenio was on the air.
That's right. I didn't think about that. So yeah, he did mention MC Hammer, which is now the third time that man has been mentioned in MCU comic.
Yep. So, also we get a look at what may or may not happen with Iron Man and Emma because they are still married. Technically, they could still be together after the end of this thing. We don't actually know what's going on because we do know that Emma is leading a team. We do know that the Hellfire Club has been abolished.
Yep.
At least his part in the Hellfire, their part in the Hellfire Club.
Well, yeah, the White King. Yeah, the White King is gone. Well, I'm sorry, the Black King. Black King is gone.
So the book literally ends like, if you don't read the next story, we end up happily together and have a good life together. If you want to know what keeps going on, read the next book. It literally says that in the book.
Yep. Although we know divorce is coming. Emma's
You
not
know,
really.
I don't know about that because we thought that X-Men was going to be a hard reset and it's just continuing.
That is true. Well, past the Krakoa era, so Krakoa arc. So
and
you're right.
We
But
know that Emma's leading, I believe, the Exceptional X-Men. So it may be she may still be with Tony, and Tony's funding this version of the X-Men.
True. That could be. That's also a possibility. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of curious to see what the next chapter is myself. So I'm definitely gonna pay attention to that.
Yep. So who knows? I do hope that they stay together because I like these two together almost as much as I like Emma and Cyclops. But these two kind of go together because they constantly one up each other in snarkiness.
Yeah.
So I like them as a couple. And, you know, if we can keep Gambit and Rogue together for almost 7 years now, then I have hope for these two.
Yeah, but X-Men 97 is still in my head.
All you gotta do is remember they are happily married and cat parents to 3 Disney cats.
That is true, but it's just X-Men 97 is still back in my head. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Gambit the Horseman for season 2.
Right.
Where do you think he starts getting cats for? I mean, he's got Oliver, Lucifer, and Figaro.
Yeah, I can't get past that. But no, go ahead.
Book of the week. Ultimate Spider-Man 6. so good. Henry and Spider-Man go fight the Kingpin. Kingpin beats the lever-loving crap out of them. And then he comes home and they're like, the whole family's like, Peter, where'd you get that bruise? I fell. And then May spoils it. It's like, spoils it. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I kept it together 4 months. I can't believe it was spoiled right now. And the son is like, so what you're doing is illegal. It's like, technically, yes, but these are very bad people that need to go to jail. So Dad's got to break the law to save people.
But the wild part is, I was going to ask about Kingpin. Did Kingpin get upgraded?
Maybe. I don't know what the Maker's done to him. Remember, this is the Ultimate Universe, so I don't know what like Ultimate Kingpin is like powers or anything.
Because that's my guess. My guess is because again with the marks that was on his body, I was like, this ain't the Kingpin this ain't the Kingpin we're used to, but he looks slightly upgraded, and he kind of had a more sinister tone than what we're used to. But then again, like you said, this is a universe redone by the Maker, so he could be upgraded. It's a question I guess we'll find out later. But I like the fact of, you know, he goes to Harry, and Harry's like, I have a code name. It's Green Goblin. No, that's what they call you. Oh, I kind of like it. He says, what's your code name?
Like, we don't need code names. Like, what are you talking about? They call you Green Goblin. Like, who? Yeah. Everybody. The news, the people, the television. Right. It's like, I can think of a better code name.
And then he said that the whole time. He's like, no, Green Goblin works. And of course, you know, just to put the icing on the cake, of course, Mary Jane's going to sit there and say, well, it's obvious. You should be Spider-Man. I'm like,
no, I love the fact that she names him Spider-Man, but my favorite part is where it's the pause of, where did you get the bruise? And then the whole story is just Peter telling the family, it's like, so here's how Dad became a superhero and nearly died.
It's How I Met Your Mother, MCU edition.
This isn't going to last longer than 8 seasons and not make a point.
But it kind of had that feel to it, though. It was like, let me tell you what happened.
I truly do love the fact that he does come straight with everybody. Like, he doesn't have a choice in the matter, yeah, but like, you could say it's like, oh, I got mugged or something. Yeah. Because like, even with May, like, blurred out, he doesn't like get mad at May. It's like, even told MJ, it's like, I wanted to tell you, I just didn't know when or how because of like all this. And even MJ's like, are we safe? And then Peter's like, yeah, we're good. This is not like Standard Peter's like, oh, no. Everybody's got to go into hiding now.
Right.
You know, Avengers Tower, everybody's moving to Avengers Tower for safety. Peter's like, no, we're good. Like, literally no one knows who I am. I don't have a name at the moment. No one knows who's under this mask. We're all good. We're safe, which I love to death. And again, I love that Peter, MJ, it's like, yeah, okay. No, I'll support this. This is fine.
And you're not mad? No. I'm like, that's different, but all right. But no, it was good. I did like it, though. I did like this issue. It's just, I'm just like, Kingpin got a hell of an upgrade. But curious to see how they're going to explain that, as well as, you know, how are they going to take him down the next chapter? And will Harry go evil? Will Harry actually turn? Will he get waves? We don't know.
Also, we have wonderful news. They are taking Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. off Spider-Man soon. Because the big finale is he's going to fight Tombstone. Not Norman Osborn, not Venom, not even Ben Reilly, or someone of great status and stature. He's going to go fight the mob and fight Tombstone.
So I got one question. I got one question, Joe. Are you relieved?
God, yes. Now, depending on who takes up the book and who the artist is, that may depend on if I resubscribe to Spider-Man. But I see this as nothing but a win, because every time this book comes out or any alternate Spider-Man book comes out, it beats the pants in sales off of Amazing.
You're right. For all those that don't know why I asked Joe that question, if you've ever watched any of our previous episodes, we do comic book polls. There is a reason why Joe kind of avoided the Zeb Wells run of Spider-Man unless he absolutely possibly had to cover it. Joe, would you like to explain?
Much like Billy D. Williams, I had a heart out, and it was 11 o'clock, and I got to go.
Oh, it was just the artwork, and I agree with him.
The moment Dark Web ended, that was my heart out. That was my 11 o'clock. It's like, Dark Web's over. I got to go.
Which I'll give it to him, because the artwork didn't fit Spider-Man at the time. Spider-Man looked more like an oblong insect than our usual web head. So I give Joe a little bit of hell for it, but I understand exactly where he's coming from. So the fact that they are
and it's not even that I hated Paul.
Mhm.
It's just he became unnecessary midway through the series. The moment they got rid of that sign calligraphy guy and the kids went, that's when Paul should have went too. And I am not one of those people that absolutely die hard need Peter and MJ to be together.
Mhm.
But like, let them get back gradually at their own pace. Like, I don't need the marriage undone. Let them get back together naturally, like they were doing in the Nick Spencer run.
Yeah.
When Peter was about to ask MJ to marry him, right before the whole Scientology, whatever dude from some Spider-Man arc I don't think anybody's ever read.
Pretty much.
Interrupt the whole thing and cause the Zeb Wells one. Like I maintain, Zeb Wells is great at writing Ben Riley. He is good. He is good at writing Ben Riley. He is crap at writing Peter Parker.
But still, I know that's gotta make you feel just a little bit better.
A little bit better, but like I said, why is your finale going to be fighting Tombstone?
Well, you got to clear. I guess you got. Well, I guess with Blood Hut going down, I guess you got to clear everything out. I guess that makes sense. But no, still a good issue. But
Did you have another one? I can't remember. No, that's
Say
it.
what?
This is written by Jonathan Hickman and art by Marco Cicchetto.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Joe, for the pulls. And as we wrap this up, guys, we do want to first thank you all who liked, who shared our podcast, who let people know this is live. We certainly do appreciate that because this podcast cannot run without you guys. So definitely thank you. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. The link at the use of that trolling at the bottom. Of course, I will actually be better about putting that link up to where you guys can see it, like so. To where you can copy and paste it, to where you guys can follow us on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch. Wherever podcasts can be seen or heard is definitely where you can find us. So again, the more you like and share, the more we appreciate it. We cannot thank you enough. But I'm going to start with you, Sir Safari. Sir, you want to let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me under here on all platforms underneath this name. I do skits on Mondays to make them a little less terrible. Currently in circulation, making some jabs at the good folks of Bridgerton. So I watched the Queen Charlotte spinoff, and I'm halfway through season 1, and none of these people know how to talk to their kids at all about anything. Jesus Christ. I also do the editing for Blur's Eye View officially. All of our interviews from MomoCon are officially out. They are about 15 to 20 minutes apiece. So you can please go watch those. Also going to be uploading a few more clips just for that's our Juneteenth present to the world. But please, our last one with AJ Beckles actually dropped a little bit earlier tonight. It's the voice actor for Takamichi, if anybody watches Tokyo Revengers. We also had his fiance, Anatis Quinones. Before that, we had Stephanie Williams, and then we had my friend Claudia McDoom as well. So please, if you can, Blur's Eye View or my name, go check out both channels, take a gander. It's a good time. Happy belated Juneteenth, all.
All right. Yeah, definitely check them out because we also did on Blur's Eye View just yesterday had the great Tony Weaver Jr. with us, and that was a fun conversation. But definitely go to Blur's Eye View to check that out as well because that man did definitely have a lot of fun with us. But
I didn't know his life story was like that. That dude, that was
right.
I never would have guessed a lot of what he told us.
Exactly. But Joe, you want the people know what you're up to, sir?
I had somebody wish me a happy Juneteenth in the elevator. I was very confused.
You guys see what you did.
I just told him, you too, thanks.
Appropriate response.
It's appropriate response, but I did not expect that in the chat.
Between that, happy Juneteenth, happy Leif Erikson Day.
Yeah. Oh man, go ahead, Joe.
I mean, I would have been more happy if they wished me happy Guy Fawkes Day, but you know.
Jesus.
It's not like they were trying to do like this open party thing in the whole elevator, and there were some black people in the elevator with me. It was just me.
That just lets you know that hey, you gave the appropriate response. You did the right thing.
Hey, happy holiday. We should be going home or time and a half, but yeah, we're here.
Right.
No, we had that question got asked at work. Someone asked like, "We get time and a half? Not for this place." And then she realized, like, oh, wait, that was the quiet part. I said that out loud. I was like, yes, you did.
Wow.
All heard it.
But they actually raised a valid point. It's like, well, it's a national holiday, so shouldn't we be getting time and a half? And I was like, we should.
And
if you bring
wrong.
up the right people, it can get corrected because it's been an issue at a lot of places because I get it, new federal holiday, but it's a federal holiday, so
you can't really ignore it.
Or how much you're supposed to be paying people.
That part. But I'm just saying. But go ahead, Joe.
That's where you can find me. Joe Italian last name on Twitch, which is where this usually streams. Showa Guy Joe. We will be back up running soon. Tafari has agreed to watch Ultraman Arc with me because he's never seen Ultraman stuff. So I want to see how he feels about Ultraman Plaza and whatnot. I actually got to do like a reaction to that Ultraman movie that dropped on Netflix because I have still yet to see it. Also, I just remembered Shorzy came out. The season 3 of Shorzy started today.
I have to watch Shorzy from the beginning. I have to go back and watch it from the beginning because I heard it was
so many wonderful and colorful insults. The best thing ever. Goalies are weird. That's all we need to know. Goalies are just weird.
It's hockey. It's hockey.
What else can I tell you? I will be over at a KaiCon. Is it this weekend or next weekend?
Next weekend.
Oh, thank God. Next weekend. I mean, if it's next weekend, that's a little easier on me. I'll be at a KaiCon. If not, I will be just out with friends or doing my API stuff, Asian Pacific Islander Middle Tennessee Charity Group stuff with them. There'll be a Pride tomorrow, so by all means, that's fantastic. Go march with your friends if you can. I cannot, only because I really dislike going downtown. Also, it's going to be like 100 or something tomorrow.
So please hydrate. Take water. Please hydrate.
I'm sure I'd look great in glitter. I am just not going to go be downtown.
That too. But if you're going to be out and about, especially if you're anywhere in the Midwest or like us in the South areas, get water. Because right now, it's just hydrate. There's no need for you to pass out. Trust me.
Right.
I mean, I'm doing switch boxing at 7:30 at night, and I am not sure if I'm sweating that much from the activity of throwing between 1,100 punches or 1,400 punches, or is the fact that I'm doing this in almost 90-degree weather at 7:30 at night.
You are really taking the Hame no Ippo training seriously.
Yes.
Jesus. Although, respect, but Jesus.
All that sweet boxing, all that boxing to the sweet, wonderful music of girls just want to have fun and under Cyndi Lauper or whatever music that chiptune game gives me.
But yes, a KaiCon, guys, for those that are wondering, it is June 28th to 30th. So next week, if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, or if you do plan to travel to the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check it out. It is a fun 3 days. I've been there. Joe been there. Some of our friends have been there. Several cosplayers that we know have been there. It is definitely fun. It is family friendly. I know some people get a little bit weird about cons, but a KaiCon is definitely family friendly. You can definitely bring kids. They actually encourage you to bring kids. There's activities for them. Different vendors love to give out free stuff to kids. I should know. 3 of my kids get free stuff every time we go there. So again, if you're able to go to a KaiCon, definitely check out akaicon.com. Or at the same time, you'll be able to purchase your badges. Oh, yes. I will use this as a word of thumb. It's okay to purchase badges at the day of the con. You do get a little bit of a deal if you purchase them ahead. Again, just word of advice. But I'm sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, like I said, I'll just be out and about or taking pictures or doing stuff like that. Tomorrow I'm going to an all-you-can-eat Filipino brunch buffet.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, well, I guess it's my turn. But again, guys, I just want to again repeat, thank you all for watching. We certainly appreciate that. Before I get to myself, I do want to talk about Blurred Station. Again, this is the vehicle, myself, Tafari, Room Full of Blurs, Geek by Heart, Navy Montel, I can keep going down the list. Hellspawn Cosplay. We've all talked about Blur. We've all talked about BlurStation.com, just because we did show a little bit of the Blur Station beta phase, so where you'll be able to see movies, television, anime, art, special effects, you name it. This is the vehicle that we said was going to be great for people of color and for blurs and for nerds to come on and to be able to enjoy something that is the equivalent of Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. And at $10.99 a month, again, $10.99 a month is all you're paying for to view Blur Station. At the same time, guys, if you do decide to join us there at Blur Station, once you hit the Join Now button, if you'll just go to the Blur's Eye View Affinity membership, and from there, under the Affinity Influencing Partner, you can select myself, Black Spartan, or Tafari at Tafari TV. Either one of us, it just helps out the cause, but we would appreciate it. And like I said, it's $10.99 a month. After 36 months of paying $10.99 a month, guys, you will have the option to own a piece of Blur Station. Now, I don't know about you, it's a whole lot easier to earn a piece of a conglomerate like Blur Station than trying to pay an assload amount of money and go through E-Trade or Fidelity Investments just to get some shares of stock from Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime. Again, this is the vehicle that we talked about, guys, going forward, that this is where we can show off our content, to where you can see our shows, you can see news like the Blurred News Network that's coming out. And again, this is just things that are coming down the pipe that you will see in the coming months. But definitely check out BlurStation.com. Again, Blur's Eye View Affinity membership, Black's partner, Tafari TV. We would certainly appreciate it. Now, as for myself, guys, you can usually find me, Black_Spartan615 on the interwebs, pretty much covering everything, even gym stuff, because I do believe in finding peace between the weights. At the same time, guys, you can definitely follow me. I'm a pretty social guy. I like to talk to everybody. Just don't make it weird. That's all I ask. At the same time, guys, like we talked about, Get Bit Podcast can be found on YouTube. It can be found on Facebook. It can be found on Spotify. It can be found on almost Apple, where I need to really fix that problem. It's kind of been a nagging thing. But pretty much everywhere else where you can find, where you can watch or listen to your podcast, or both, you can find us there. At the same time, guys, again, we cannot do this without your support, so we do thank you very much. Please like and follow. I will follow back. Again, just don't be weird. That's all I ask. But as we wrap this up, guys, again, we will be back here, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel next Friday, hopefully. Aside from that, any last words, guys, that we have before we call it a night?
I got nothing. Have fun. Go watch Inside Out 2. It's a great ride.
Yeah, go watch it. Yeah, Inside Out 2 is a great movie from what I've heard. Actually, my niece and nephew went to go see it. Joe, what about you?
Join me on Monster Hunter.
I gotta buy it first.
What are you talking about? It's free right now on PlayStation Premium.
Yeah, I gotta buy my membership. I gotta rebuy my membership.
Better than me.
I'm about to say I have to rebuy my membership for PlayStation Plus, but I'm gonna do it. But yes, aside from that, guys, last words we'll say again, we love fandoms, we love them, we share them, we debate them. We even have healthy arguments. The last thing you want to be, guys, is toxic gatekeepers. We don't want to sit there and knock somebody because their tastes are different than ours, or that we think we're superior. We believe that fandoms are for everybody. They're a way to bring people together. They're a way to have healthy conversations. They're ways to bring people into experiences that they've never known. So simply put, and also for cons, I meant to say this rules as well, because cons are happening. 3 really quick rules, guys. Respect the cosplayer at all times. Cosplaying is for everybody, regardless of your height, weight, sexual orientation, or preferences. The only thing that we ask you to do is don't do blackface. Don't do blackface. That's the only thing we ask you not to do. Number 2, grooming is everything, guys. These cons have next to nothing in space, and you will be walking right next to a person that's going to be like sardines in a can. Please, guys, wash your ass. Please use deodorant, use lotion. It's okay to use cologne. Just don't go over with it. But again, be clean. We would appreciate it. And number 3 is the same rule when you're going to a con. Be nice. Be kind. It will get you a lot farther than being a dick. Because if you're a dick, they get a guy like me who has no problem being security and showing you the way out. So again, 3 simple rules, easy to follow. But yes, with fandoms, simply put, share them, discuss them, invite people. That's how we can make these fandoms be better than what they are, and we can eliminate the toxicity. But aside from that, don't be a dick. That being said, guys, I've been Will. He's been Tafari. This has been Joe. Thank you for watching. We certainly appreciate it, guys. Please take care of yourselves and each other, especially in this heat. Hydrate and go have fun. Peace.